you know, just keep a smile on. Like you're just ready. Okay, it says it's live. So hopefully we got it. Yes, yes. Okay. Welcome everybody to this week's Being You Adventure Show. I'm Sarah Grandinetti, and I'm so excited to be here with the Miss Susanna Mittermaier. And if you're looking for how to share it, Susanna, I'm not seeing it. So.
Oh, I see it. I don't know how to share it though.
Yeah, I see it. I just also don't know how to share it. So if you were one of the amazing people who figured out how to share this last time, please tell us, because it was really cool to see that it got shared, and we're in a closed group that we cannot open to sharing right now. Rules of Facebook. Anyways, so today I need to record. Hold on. Okay. Today we are here with the beautiful Susanna Mittermaier, and we're talking about being you with money. And one of the things I know it's up in my world hugely, because in life we like create our like financial reality around the relationships we have, around the businesses we have, around who works in our business, around like who our partners are in life and all the things. And it's just been super up in my world. So I'm so excited to be having this conversation right now. Personally, thank you. And I just want to know how does one be you with money, because we buy so much crap from everybody else about what it is to create money in our lives.
Well, okay. So one of the things that I love about these, things we do, like having a Facebook Live right now together and having the topic of, being you with money, being plus you equals wealth, which is, I love that equation. And how that energy already comes up before we start talking, this absolutely joyful, alive, like let's go energy. And that's for me a big element of creating money. Because when I started to even consider that money would be fun to create, I didn't have that before. Like before Access, I'm like, okay, money's also there, but whatever. But the first time when I started to get that, hey, money can be fun, I can do awesome stuff with it. And the things that I can do with money actually make sense to me. In this reality, what you do with money not often makes sense to humanoids. It's like, okay, awesome. Yay, I can do vacation. Okay, I can lie on the beach for a week. Oh, yay, awesome. It's not alive enough. But the first time when money made sense to me was when I had more clarity of what I wanted to create in the world. And it started it actually started with Access, when I wanted to do a class. I had just done the COP, and then I wanted to go to Costa Rica to do a 7-day, and I didn't have the money on my bank account at that time. And I'm like, I just knew I had to go there because it would change my life. And this was the first time when I'm like, whoa, okay, it actually would be really cool to have money. I get it. Oh, wow. Then I actually can do things like this. I can, grant myself those amazing things of flying from Europe to Costa Rica and doing these classes and all of this. And I don't have to struggle. I'm like, oh, I like that ease, and I like to have that choice. Okay, universe, what would be the first step? And then I realized that, just having clarity of what I would like, plus asking, hey, what would it take? Plus making the choice of, I'm going to go there. If it's not this time, if I'm not going to make the money in time for this time, I'm going to have it next time. If not then next time. So not giving up is the other element. That's when I started to get, oh my God, money is fun. It creates the life that I desire. And it has, it has this element that both Sarah and I just have in our worlds right now, this, yes, let's go, so
Can I
most
ask
of
you a question.
Yeah.
Did you grow, like, I'm so aware of where I bought my financial reality from my parents, and they're up and down. Like either there was a lot of money or there was no money. And it was this constant like ride, like a wave of either I was like the rich kid in class or we were cutting coupons, right? It was just this weird thing. So before this, like, did you ever have like a struggle or a lack, or it was just kind of like, money is just a thing that goes into my bank and pays my bills? Like, where did you come from when you met the tools of Access Consciousness and moved through like what it looked like to use those tools? Because what it sounded like, you're like, okay, what would it take? Like, I'm choosing this. Like, you were being that energy. Like, so before that showed up as a possibility in your world, where were you with money? Is kind of like, I give everybody like a
yeah. So when I like growing up, money was never a topic at all. I mean, I didn't even know if my parents had money or not, because it was never an issue. So so there was always enough money for whatever we wanted. And it was so amazing because it was never talked about. It was never a lack. It was never a, oh my God, we need it. It was never a God, oh my God, we're so awesome because we have money. It was never any of that. It was just, yeah, money is part of the world, but it doesn't matter. It's like, it's nothing. It's like, okay. So it was never an issue. I grew up with not having money as an issue, and also knowing that whatever I desire, I can get it. And that's also something that's so much part of my world. I'm like, no is not an answer for me. And if it's a no now, like every no can turn into a yes. You just don't give up. You're just like a 5-year-old and going, okay, I hear you, and I'm just gonna try it this way. No, okay, I hear you, and how about that way? And that's kind of like how I recommend creating business and money. It's like, okay, if it's a no now, it doesn't mean that it has to be a no tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you have any really cool stories? Like, can I help you? Do you have any really cool stories about,
Hi.
I'm doing a Facebook Live right now.
She wants to have money.
Oh, clearly.
Right?
Doing a little bit. Okay, thanks. Just like money showing up. So I've had, I've heard so many really cool stories in Access of people, like you said, like, I want to go to Costa Rica and I don't know how it's going to show up, but I'm choosing it. And then like people will find money in the weirdest places. Or do you have anything like that you can share that would be fun?
Yeah, lots of them actually. So like it started with, because what I did is step by step. I started with classes, creating money for classes, and then when I had that, like the first classes I did, I paid a lot of it by credit card, and like partly credit card and partly something I had, and then I always looked at, okay, so now I have this debt. How much time will it take me to pay this off? And so I always had this goal of, okay, I give myself, what, I don't remember, was it a month or two to pay this off? And I'm like, this is going to be paid off by 2 months, like latest. And so it was. And so I did the first classes like this. And then I'm like, okay, that's awesome. And what else is possible? I'd actually like to make money. I actually like to be able to pay for the classes, not by credit card, but by money I have. So then I asked for that. And that was totally like it seemed like an impossibility. And like, where would that money come from? I mean, my job at that time was a psychologist and psychotherapist, and in Sweden, and the money that I got per month there, I mean, it sounds very awesome, but the money you make in a hospital is not that much. It's not like where you can afford X amount of access classes by the wage you get per month. And so, but I had this ask, I'm like basically I said, it just doesn't work for me anymore. This does not work that I have credit card debt every month. Like, hell no, not my world. Like, what else is possible? So that energy. And then I have no idea how. It's just like you said before. I just, what I did actually, like more specifically, I added another job to my job, which is where I started to give bar sessions, aside from my, thingy, the monthly employment, and I started to do bars classes. So I basically asked, I didn't ask that question out loud, but I had the question in my world, what else can I add to my life? And so, okay, so that brought in money. And then
everybody watching, write that down, because some of the comments in the thread right now, like Lorelai says, oh my God, this is awesome. This is literally where I'm at right now regarding payment for access classes. So what else can I add to my life? can be a question you can ask to create for that. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Continue.
Yeah. So and then for me, it's so easy to say, oh, what would it take for me to create a gazillion $1,000,000 of money, blah blah blah, and everything doesn't allow it, talk, talk. That's awesome, and that's a bit like woohoo, you know. It's easier to be very specific and take it step by step. It's like, what could be the next step? Could be the question you ask. Like for me, it was first find a way to pay for the things I want in my life. No, sorry, the first step actually was to be clear of what I would like. And in the beginning, it was like all I could think of is, oh, I want to do these classes because it gives me so much more of me. Okay, then find a way to pay for it. Okay, then find a greater way to pay for it. And then I started to make so much money that I could pay for my rent and the things that you have to pay per month, plus the access classes. But then there wasn't anything left. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Time for the next step. Now what else is possible? And then I asked, hey, universe, what would it take for me to make so much money that I not only have the money to pay for my monthly expenses plus the access classes, but actually more than that, you know? So for me,
all that, like, that's when you got willing to have the money.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So step by step is something that helped me, rather than thinking, oh, like comparing, like what people usually do, they compare themselves with somebody really rich and they go, I want to have that. Yes. And how many steps in the future is that? And what steps could you start with that work for you now? Because we want it easy. We don't want to have it complicated and hard and compare ourselves with someone and then judge ourselves for not getting it right away or yesterday. We want to go, okay, yes, that's what I'm asking for, like that rich person, whoever you're thinking of. And what could I start with? What's the next step for me? And then what's the easiest thing I could start with? You know, like take the thing that's the easiest. Okay, so next step would be, credit card debt's gone or whatever it is for you, and ask for that. Then check, yay, celebrate the next choice you've reached.
That's what's really cool. What you're saying is is each step you're acknowledging. You're acknowledging that you've created that. Okay, cool. Now what's next? Now what's next? I think a lot of times when I see, and I know I've done myself, is like I want that big thing, and then it's like an ask that keeps going to that, but it's not the steps with the acknowledgement along the way. So that's super, super cool. Because I also have seen people ask for something, it shows up. So like they're asked for a class, like they want to go to a class, the money will show up for the class, and then they'll go, okay, maybe this is something we could talk about next. And they'll go, oh, because I heard Simone say recently, Simone Milicis of Access Consciousness, she's our worldwide coordinator. She was just saying that Gary at one point told her that if you ask for an amount of money to show up for this thing, if it shows up for this thing, spend it on this thing. Right. And what she would do is, like, if money came up, she would think she needed to pay off like this debt. But he's like, no, that's actually moving that towards the creation. So if you're aware money came up and it's like the exact amount of the class you wanted to go to, like choose it, because that's the flow. So can you talk about that? If you were looking at like, yes, asking for this amount of money to show up, it shows up, and then you're like, oh, but I still have debt. Like, how do you play with those things?
Okay, so this is where you could use the tool of what's light makes what's right is light, and what's heavy is the lie, and you can apply that to money as well. So like you said, if you ask for, oh, what would it take for me to have so much money I can afford, I can buy, whatever it is, for example, a class, and like you say, the exact amount of money shows up. And notice how when you go to, yes, but I actually need the money for the bill XYZ, is that energy light or heavy? And if you would go, oh, cool, I have that amount of money, I'm actually going to pay for whatever you asked for, let's say the class, is that light or heavy? And then you go, okay, wow, okay, the first point of view, conclusion, actually, that's the heavy part. That's why you try to be logical, make sense, be a responsible citizen of the world, do what your mom would have said you should do and all that crap, but that's this reality. But going, oh, wait a second, okay, I asked for this, it has shown up, this is actually lighter. So truth, is this creating the future that I'm asking for? Or if I make that choice to use that money for the thing I asked for, what future will that create? Is this what I asked for? And this seldom makes sense. Like, this is not something rational. This is the irrational choices we make to create money. Most people try to be rational with money because we've learned it from our parents. They're like, oh, save money, be responsible. No, you can't use that much money. You're crazy. So that's where we try to make rational choices. But wealth is not created by rational choices. Wealth is created by irrational choices. And irrational choices are always those who match what you uniquely know will create your future.
Yeah, I recently did a class on the East Coast, and the morning of the class, I literally got, the class was so awesome. It was a Being You class. For those of you who don't know, Susanna and I are both Being You certified facilitators. That there's an amazing book out by Dr. Dane here called Being You Changing the World. It's in a ton of languages, and we both facilitate classes that were born out of the tools in this book. That the book has changed a ton of lives. Anyways, I got up one morning after the class, and I was like, I literally asked, what irrational choice can I make now that matches this future that I just chose by being with this class? And I woke up and I had booked my ticket home was like in the middle of the plane. And I noticed that this was an international flight plane. And so there were like there was a big like Delta One upgrade, and it was going to be $700, which was more than like the whole round trip thing that I bought. And I was like this actually matches the future. So irrational. So like, yes, I still have bills. Yes, I have all these things, but that choice like launched a whole nother, like, and I do that as much as I can. But there was this thing is like, it would have been like, I've already had it's only half a flight. It's not even the whole flight. I still had to connect to that plane. It was so rational, but the space that it gave me on what was possible for my future was huge. And it's that thing of getting out of linearity. Absolutely.
So true. Exactly that. And the joy when you sit down on that in that seat of going, whoa, that's my reality. That matches who this girl is. You're like, yeah, mama is in the house. Yeah, let's go, and that's exactly how we create money and wealth in our future. And like, who has been taught to do it that way? I mean, that should be in schools. I mean, that should be taught in schools of how you really create your future, from the fun, the joy of it, and not from rational choices. And, in Austria, there's like a mini example of that. We have like people love to ride trains, and I do that too. I love the trains in Austria. They're so comfy, and it's unbelievable in other countries, but they're really awesome. And there's this part of the train that's called, it's like a first class part. And most people have no idea that the upgrade to that awesome part is just 15 euros. So there's almost like nobody sitting there, because most people have the conclusion, no, that's not for me. That's not my world. I could never afford it. So they don't even ask the question of, hey, what would it take, or how much would it even be to sit there? So often we don't even ask, because we've already decided this is not my store. This is not my reality. I could never afford it, rather than going, what would I really like? What would be fun for me? What's yummy and nurturing for my body? And hey, let's get the information to, what would it really take? How much money would it be to have that in my world? And then start creating it.
Yeah, that awareness piece is huge. I remember the first time I was looking at like certified facilitators, I looked at like the fact that there was one in Paris and then one in Costa Rica, and whatever conclusions I had in place at the time about like the wealth of going to Paris, like what that looks like, spending time in Paris, and then like going down to Costa Rica, like, I just immediately, without even considering, was like, I couldn't do Paris. That's not my reality. And I had this conversation.
And Europeans have the exact opposite thing. It's so, but like, oh my God, Costa Rica, but Paris is easy.
Isn't that funny? And so I looked up tickets, and it was just the act of Googling what it would cost to go to Paris. Like, I remember almost being like, click, and then to tell me, because I wouldn't even look at it. Like you said, the upgrade to first class, I wouldn't even look at it. And when something came up and it was like $700, I was like, what? Like, that's possible? That's out there? And it changed everything from that place of knowing there were things I wouldn't even look or ask the price or, order the menu for in life, because I had just decided that it wasn't for me, or I wasn't in that like class of whatever wealth is. So one of the things I wanted to ask you the beautiful Susanna. And I want to read some of these because we got some really cool comments. Claudia said, so grateful. This is exactly what I'm looking at right now. Shivam says, love that wealth is created by rational choices. She says, meme. And then Lorelai says, I just got the awareness of everywhere I stop the flow. Like I've decided that there's only this amount that I already know available and no more. And then Marion wants to know, and this is kind of where I wanted to go a little bit too. Marion wants to know, how does that play when the money isn't strictly yours? So when I opened up, I was talking about like when we're in creation with our money with other people and their financial reality. So it could show up in marriage. So if you are a stay-at-home mom and your husband makes the money, or maybe you're both working and you're making different amounts, or their willingness to receive is not matching your willingness to receive. And that could be, I know you're also in business. So like when you're doing money and having to be you and not buy into whoever you're co-creating with financial reality. So what does that look like to Susanna?
So a couple of things. So one of the things I can recommend if you have your financial things together with someone else is add someone that's just for you. Something that would be a Freudian.
Or someone. I mean,
or someone, you know, consciousness and everything. So you can add like a part that's where you make money for you, you know, and just have it for you. And either the partner can hear it or not. I mean, you don't have to tell them all the information if they can't hear it and it creates complication. And just have it for you to the acknowledging your capacity to create money. And another thing could be that if you have a joint account and you might be the person who makes more money or has an ease making more money, or it's like so often that women have a more aggressive willingness to create money than their spouses, which is not a problem. Okay, so I would go, if you think that is a problem or it's wrong, I would work on letting go of that point of view. You can go, wow, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Oh, wow, interesting point of view, I have this point of view, as often as it takes, because it's just that you're different. It's not that any of you is wrong, even if you're the one who makes less money. It's just like we all have different capacities. And if one of you has the capacities of making money easier, that's an awesome business. You know, like marriage is a business. And if one of you has an easier time making money, awesome. Then ask, how can you use each other? How can you use the person who has that capacity? How can they use themselves? What gift can they be to your, joint business? And if you are the one who makes more money in that whole scenario, don't make you wrong for being the one who makes money and brings money into the house, and don't make the other person wrong for not doing it or doing it less. Again, you're just different. And if you're willing to be the one who pays for most of the bills, you have no point of view about it, you will actually make more money just because of that willingness. It's magical. It's amazing. Our points of view create a reality. And if you have no point of view that you are the one who makes the money and pays all the bills, watch how more money comes into your world and your business and your life. Okay.
That's amazing. I love that. Do you have, so I love that you use the interesting point of view. That's a tool in access consciousness. When you're aware of an energy that is, and you want to go to your point of view about it, if you just repeat interesting point of view, I have this point of view over and over, you'll just see the energy shift with it. And you can change that really easily. But one of the things I wanted to say with that is, other than interesting point of view, is there another question that you're aware of, like with money? I know for me, one of the ones I always say is like, if I were truly being me here, like what would I choose or what would I be aware of? And if I was truly asking from the point of view of like, or the awareness of the future that I want to create, what would I choose? So do you have anything that like is your jam, like you go to?
I love that one. That is so beautiful. And well, there's so many points of view about money, and especially when money and then adding relationship to it, bam, there's like a whole world of insanity out there. And you really want to ask, who does this belong to? And if you like, there's even an app, an access consciousness app you can download on your phone, which I highly recommend, because most of the crap that's in our head that drives us insane is not yours. It's something you pick up. Like there's so many points of view what's right and wrong in relationship. There's so many points of view what's right and wrong with money. Now put money and relationship together. There are a gazillion times more points of view what's right and wrong. So asking who does this belong to just frees you so much of all the stuff you've bought that drives you insane, that is never been yours. And then you can ask the amazing question that Sarah asked. It's like if I would do money my way and I've never learned anything about how to do with money and what's right and wrong, what would I know? Or I think Dane puts it, if I know not this, if I know not this with money, what would I know? What would be my way of doing it?
I love that so much. I totally forgot about that one. Yeah, because you like right away shows up all your like decisions, judgments, conclusions, computations about money. And if you're like, okay, wait a minute, if I know not any of that.
I like that. Yeah, exactly.
Like, what would I choose? Yes. Thank you for reminding me that. I'm going to use that like today, like right now.
I did it today with skiing. So today were a lot of people on the skiing hill, and I could feel my body. Like I love skiing. I started when I was 4 years old, so it's really easy for me, and I love it speedy and everything. And today I was skiing downhill, and I'm like, this is weird. I'm like trying to be careful and not be too fast, and I'm like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, ask who does this belong to? So I ask, who does this belong to? Who am I being? Oh, it's not mine. I returned it to sender. And then I ask, if I would be skiing my way, how would I do it? Bam, boom. And there was the energy again, and the fun and the speed and the ease. So you can ask this question any area of your life.
I love that so much. Hi, Arlene. Hi, Eleanor. I'm using weird voices to say hello to people. Okay, I before we go, because we're rounding up at 30 minutes, I wanted to ask you, like, where can people find you? What do you have coming up next? All the things that will contribute to all that.
Yeah, so I have a webpage, as one does. It's Susanna, Mittermaier.com. And I have a lot of classes, and most of them are in German, but I have one English coming up, actually about money and wealth. It's called Being the Voice of Wealth That Creates a Future That Works for You. And it's a 2-day class.
Chills.
Yeah, it's so, because I also do right voice classes and pragmatic psychology and being you and wealth creators. And so I created a class that puts all of those elements together, and that's those 2 days, and you can do it online or in Estonia. So it's a 2-day class, 9th and 10th of March. So online is available as well. Yeah, that's the English one.
Oh, that's awesome. So they can join online from wherever in the world.
Exactly. Yes.
Amazing. I just wanted to add, for anybody who just joined us who doesn't know the tools of Access Consciousness, I mean, go to accessconsciousness.com and find out all about all the things and specialty topics. And you can also go to drdanehere.com, which is where the Being You Changing the World book is. It's on Amazon as well. I'll show you a little close up. There you go. We like this guy a lot. And the Being You classes you can find it on the adventureofbeingyou.com page, and also the Adventure of You Facebook page, which we're trying to get more people over there to play with, so we can be more have more stuff going on over there with our Being You facilitators. So if you guys get done here, go over to the Adventure of Being You page, click like, click follow, and because eventually we're going to move this show over to there. So we would love to invite you to go over there and play with more Being You certified facilitators. I also am doing a class on March 9th and 10th, a Being You class in Boston, Massachusetts. So that is also available if anybody is here in the US and wants to play. You can come to Boston where it's nice and cold. People are putting stuff in. Thank you, Anne. So people are looking forward to your class. Eleanor repeated, if I would be living my life my way, how would I be living it? Super
Great.
Cool. Yeah. So thank you guys. Oh yes. And Alexa is telling you the Venture of Being You page. You can come play with us there. Again, my name is Sarah Grandinetti. This is the beautiful Susanna Mittermaier. I'm so grateful to have you join us today, Susanna, and I look forward to more chats with you all the time.
Thanks for having me. You're awesome. Thanks for doing this.
You're so welcome. My financial reality that I'm choosing just totally changed after this conversation. And I'll probably PM you right after this and tell you what exactly you said, but I am so grateful. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week sometime. I think it's Monday next week, but I'll post it. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.